the difference between seeing it as some task that we're doing and as a way of life is essentially it's inviting people into our lives as we live them. So, not hospitality as a big project for you or your family, but if you're doing a barbecue, why not include the neighbor who's, who lives alone or whatever? If you're doing another kind of function, or you're taking the kids somewhere or something, why not include the other child? It's really more of hospitality not as performance, right, but as simply a way of life. And so, not so much putting on a grand dinner, but inviting people into your kitchen as you prepare it and being part. I mean, there are different ways people do hospitality, but a lot of times it's a whole lot easier if it's not a big event, but it's really, what people want is to connect, not so much the grand show. Occasionally it's nice to celebrate with a lovely event or something, but I think for the most part, it's really the very simple acts of inviting somebody to come home with you for lunch, and you're going to end up preparing it together, whatever.
I like what you said too, though. It's not always an event. It might just be slowing down and listening to someone as an act of hospitality. And when we're talking about either disabled or other folks like that, so often they're just overlooked.
Right.
That to actually just pay attention and allow them into your life and you into their life is an act of hospitality on its own. And what a view of grace, that we preach grace, but we tend to think we kind of sort of earn it. And this is a picture of what grace is. It's completely unearned. And they can allow us to see God's grace being lived out. So it's a gift to us as well as us to them, right?
Right, good. I think the other thing that's important in this conversation is to remember that most of us also need to learn how to receive hospitality, to let other people welcome us. That's in some ways a more vulnerable location, but I think there are ways of insisting on always being the host, and that's a power position. And so being willing to be the guest, being eager to be someone's guest, allowing them to host you, which says they have something to offer. So I really learned this with working with refugees. Our inclination in the church that I was working with was to really feel as if it would be inappropriate for us to accept hospitality because they had so little money and so few resources. That was a terrible mistake, because most of the cultures that folks came from are cultures where it's really important to offer hospitality. And you just take it, even if it involves sacrifice on their part. It's a statement of what they have to contribute to be willing to receive it. And so I think oftentimes, especially in leadership roles, we have to also learn to be willing to be the guest and to accept what people want to offer.